Hello and welcome to TalentSprint for another video session on a very important section of the banking segment. We have seen what are the primary functions of a bank. If you recall, the primary functions of a bank are acceptance of deposits, giving of loans or lending, then issuance of remittances and clearance of checks or clearing of checks. We shall now deal with the last subject, namely the clearing of checks. The clearing of checks is one of the most important functions of a bank. When we issue a check to another person, he deposits into his bank account. That's very rudimentary. I issue a check in Mr. X's name. Mr. X goes and deposits into his bank account. That bank account may or may not be the same as my bank account. If the bank of the payee is not that of my bank, then the check is presented at what is known as the clearing house, where the drawer's bank pays the payee bank, which in turn pays the payee. It's a very simple process. I give a check to Mr. X. He goes and deposits the same in his account with Central Bank of India. Central Bank of India then presents the check in the clearing house. At the clearing house, Central Bank of India gets payment from my bank account, receives the payment, and then pays the payee by crediting his account. This is the process of clearing of checks. It's as simple as that. There is no magic involved in clearing of checks. There are three persons involved in this, or rather, if I may say so strictly, the following persons are involved in the clearing of check. One is the drawer of the check, who issues the check. Second is the payee of the check, or in whose name the check is issued. The third is the bank on which the check is drawn, that is the account holder's bank. The fourth is the bank on which the payee, the bank in which the payee maintains an account, or the payee's bank account, and finally the clearing house. These five together form the clearing process. The entire clearing process is now done with the clearing machines, which read the checks electronically and sort them out according to the banks on which they are drawn. The entire process of clearing has now become mechanized. In the olden days, banks used to actually carry the checks to the clearing house, exchange them, physically exchange them with the other bank, and prepare a list of such accounts, and then the receiving bank, if the amount to be received by the bank is greater than the amount to be paid, they will get a check from the other bank, and vice versa. If the amount is paid to be greater, then they will issue a check to the other bank. The process was good for the olden days, but now with thousands and thousands of transactions happening every day, the process can no longer be done manually. So the entire process is now done electronically through the clearing house, which uses machines to sort out these checks according to the banks on which they are drawn, and they automatically sort it out, and the checks are then delivered to the bank on whom they are drawn. Payments are also done using the core banking system. The check can be drawn by a bank branch in Chennai, but payable to a payee in Hyderabad. The payee in Hyderabad can deposit the check in his bank account in Hyderabad. It is not necessary for the check to be presented at the clearing house in Chennai. The Hyderabad branch of the payee's bank will deposit the check in the clearing house at Hyderabad, where the payments will be made to the concerned bank by the core banking system. That is why you find that in all the checkbooks these days, they say that these checks are payable at par at all branches of the bank in India. That is the reason for that checks having that kind of a inscription on them. So the checks are paid in such a way that they are paid through the core banking system. And of course, in case that the core banking system does not allow the debit of the account for the reason that they do not have the funds and all that, the unpaid checks are returned to the drawer bank. The unpaid checks are returned to the drawer bank through the payee's account. So they will be returned. What is MICR? MICR is a very important component of a clearing house these days. MICR stands for Magnetic Ink Character Recognition System. MICR is the basis on which the entire mechanization has been done of the clearing house system. The checks now being used are only MICR checks. non-MICR checks have gone out of circulation. They carry what is known as the MICR number, which is a combination of the city, the bank, the branch code, and this is a 9-digit code. The MICR code is a 9-digit code which will contain the code of the city, then it will contain the code of the bank, and it will also contain the code of the branch on which it is drawn. This MICR number helps in auto clearing of the checks. What is National Payment Corporation of India? The National Payments Corporation of India is an umbrella organization for all retail payment system in India. It was set up with the guidance and support of the Indian Banks Association, or the IBA, and the Reserve Bank of India. There are 101 banks, 2.34 lakh ATMs, 12.21 lakh POS terminals are members of the NPCI. The National Payment Corporation of India has 101 banks, 2.34 lakh ATMs, and 12.21 lakh point of sales terminals, which are members of the National Payment Corporation of India. And it is through the NPCI that all these payments happen across the country. So this is a rundown on the clearing system which happens in India, and how the clearing system happens, how it has been mechanized from the earlier days when it was handled manually, and how the entire system is mechanized now. What is MICR? What is the MICR stands for? Magnetic Ink Character Recognition System. What do the 6 digits in the what do the 9 digits in the MICR code stand for? They stand for the city code, they stand for the bank code, and they stand for the branch code. How the MICR checks have come into existence, how non-MICR checks are not being used, how the entire process of automation of clearinghouse has taken place, and how the National Payments Corporation of India plays a very important part in the functioning of the clearing system, and how 101 banks, 2.34 lakh ATMs, and 12.21 lakh point of sales terminals are members of the National Payment Corporation of India, National Payment Corporation of India. So this is a rundown on the clearing system of the country, and this clearing is one of the primary functions of a bank. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Until I see you in the next video, is bye from me for now, and thanks for watching.